Welcome to this week's episode of Queen Space Conversations with your host, Mary M.J. Harper. Join us for a seat at the table as we sit down with our special guest, Keisha Sanchez, CEO of I Am Radio, and her co-host of the Arlington Merchant Mix, Mr. U. Today, we'll dive into an engaging conversation about the Arlington Merchant Mix Men's Month celebration, the importance of networking, partnerships, and relationship. So come on in, grab a seat, and let's get started. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we are back for part two of our interview with Miss Keisha Sanchez, the CEO of I Am Radio, the curator of the Arlington Merchant Mix, and co-host. And we have her co-host in the house with us today, Mr. Rodriguez Underwood, better known as Mr. U.
Mr. U.
Yes.
I am he.
Yes.
There's an I am in there.
Yes.
I love these
for having
two.
me on. I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Yes, I am so glad that you came in to sit down with us today.
Absolutely.
And so I wanted to get an opportunity to talk to you both about the Arlington Merchant Mix. And I'd love for you to share a little bit with the people about how you all end up hosting this event together. I was just bragging with you on the fact that I was able to be there the first time you met. And it was the start of a beautiful working relationship with all of us.
Yeah,
All of us.
for sure.
Yes, and that was at the time we were doing the interview for your podcast at that time. And I remember Ron calling me and saying, well, look, it's fine you running late because I got somebody I want you to meet. I'm doing an interview right before you. I want you to meet this lady. I think you guys should connect. And so I had an opportunity to meet you at that interview, and I still remember I was in love with your shoes.
Yeah.
And one day the Lord gonna let my feet shrink just a little bit so you can give those to me. But I love the relationship, the business relationship and personal relationship that we've been able to develop since that time. And as we each have developed our own individual relationships, I've been able to see you all come together and collaborate with the Arlington Merchant Mix. So tell us a little bit how you guys decided to get into hosting this event together.
Well, it was definitely the day of when he reached out to me to be on the Mr. U show. When I went out and did my interview, we were talking about, the next Merchant Mix, right? And so the next one was my birthday Merchant Mix. And so I actually hired him to host it. And so he hosted my birthday Merchant Mix. And once we had each other in the room and in that atmosphere and that dynamic, he immediately asked how we could continue to partner. And from there, it just there was this natural synergy. I was able to bring my background, my platform, my experience, and align it with his background, with his experience, and it just became a shared vision. And it was a vision where neither one of us had to take away from each other. I continue to bring what I had, he has continued to bring what he has, and it's just been a beautiful flow. It has definitely changed the trajectory of the Merchant Mix. Doing it for almost 4 years, thank God I haven't ran out of ideas, but he brought a different element to it, a different dynamic. That's why we call us the dynamic duo, because there's so many complexities and dimensions and dynamics to it that we have been able to collaborate on and push through and create that experience that people want to continue to experience every other month. And it's just the gift that keeps on giving.
I definitely agree with what she was saying. I think once we was able to see the chemistry that we both had in that room, in that space, and for that cause, it was a no-brainer, right? From my background and experience of just producing many different showcases and doing public speaking, just knowing how to host and interact with the audience and connect with the audience. And once I was able to see that she had that same element as well, it just crossed my mind like, hey, why won't we just scale this thing out and bring a male aspect on? But she was doing great. I mean, I feel like she really didn't need me, but I wanted to come on and just be an asset where I could be. Like we both stand for diversity and inclusion, right? So me coming to the table and being able to contribute with just helping promote it, bringing that energy as a host. When we first started, I was doing the DJing.
Oh yeah, about that. He was DJ Mr. You.
Right. So it just I understand the vibe. I mean, I'm a vibe, right? Keisha's a vibe. And together we just rock out, right?
Yeah.
We a lot of people just enjoy it. I think a lot of people that come to the merchant mix now, it's like they enjoy the element of us both being there. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably how the merchant mix is probably going to be remembered, right? Like Keisha and Mr. U, like they brought this 106 and Park vibe to Texas.
Yeah.
Right? I know it's Keisha's baby, and it's become my baby as well because I carry the merchant mix on my back. And I bring a lot of people to it, like people from afar, from like just people who I network. I probably network a little bit more than Keisha because she's full-time in her job, but I'm more of a full-time entrepreneur. So I do a lot of network. I'm in a lot of rooms that she might not be able to be in, but I'm slowly introducing her to those rooms because I know she's just that awesome. But I'm seeing the demographic that we're bringing back to the merchant mix, right? All of these relationships and all these people that we're meeting out in the marketplace, we're bringing them to the merchant mix. Not only just bringing them to the merchant mix, but giving them awards, appreciating them, honoring them, right? Giving them a platform to speak, giving them a platform to perform. We have all of the vendors, right?
Yeah.
So we just bringing this diabolical energy to the place on top of our personalities, right? So it's just working beautiful, and I'm so excited to see the future of it. It's such a safe space, right?
Yeah.
It's family oriented, right? You can bring your kids, you can bring your family, and it's such a safe space for you to, if you're a new entrepreneur, right? The merchant mix is definitely a space for you to get your feet wet, meet some other entrepreneurs, do some networking, right?
Yeah.
Possibly get on the mic and just tell the room a little bit about yourself. That's what I love about the merchant. It's so authentic, right?
Yeah.
And it's so like homegrown and down to earth, right? You can come in, you can walk around with your shoes off. Keisha does it all the time. And it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's so homegrown, right? It is there's no right or wrong way, right? I think Keisha has mastered the science of it, right? So other than that, it's just the personalities behind it. And any entrepreneur, any business owner knows that. It's the energy, it's the personality, it's the people behind your business that keeps it alive, right? Yeah. So I think the fact that her and we're not babies to that. We're very mature in understanding of that. So like I said, I'm grateful to God that she even allowed me and trusted me to be a part of this platform. And I look forward to continue to be an asset and just continue to help her to scale it out.
Yeah. So it's been a year's anniversary since you came on board and joined forces with Keisha with the Merchant Mix. And I know that the Men's Day was last year. It was awesome. It was amazing. And so that's coming up again for the November Arlington Merchant Mix. So tell me a little bit, as the male co-host of the Merchant Mix, what is in store for Men's Month?
This is probably going to be one of my most favorite editions of the Merchant Mix because I know that marketing to men is one of the hardest things to do, to get men to come out, show up, and just be a part of something, even if it's for them, right? Yeah. So, but the Merchant Mix has this energy about it, right? People hear Arlington Merchant Mix, they just get excited, like, what is it? Right? And then, we talk about the community impact awards and stuff like that, and people just gravitate to it. People get excited about it, and people love feeling appreciated for their efforts. Like, Keisha and I are two people that can attest to this, that we don't do what we do for the awards. We don't do what we do for the recognition, but it always feels great. It always feels good to receive that pat on the back and let people know, look, I see you, right? So, we've had some amazing time at the Merchant Mix. You go through our social media and see the pictures, see the people's smiles, and see people that came from all different parts of Texas and out of town.
The world.
You know what I'm saying? So This is going to be diabolical, though. I feel like the guys that we're going to have there, these are guys who I had an opportunity to build relationships with over the last couple of years, right? So just as well as they've been watching me and being influenced by me and my efforts or whatever, I've been just as impacted by seeing them, right? It's been iron sharpening iron. Yeah. So I'm going to feel so like ecstatic about just seeing them all together. Because the thing is, for me, I don't know why, but I've been thinking people be knowing each other, right? Because I've networked so much, you know what I'm saying? But when I have an opportunity to get such power in a room and see them move amongst each other and just take the pictures and shake each other's hands and add each other on social media, swap numbers and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like the fly on the wall. Because people know I'm always with my sunglasses, so they don't really know what I'm kind of looking at. But I'm observant, right? I'm very observant, right? And so that right there just infused me. It lifts me higher than people probably can even imagine. And then to be doing it with Keisha and to know that she has a heart for this, right? It's just, her and I could be on separate parts of the room. And people just can still feel that magnetic authenticity from the both of us with just being hosts. Like, we're making people okay, we're making people laugh, we're making sure the vendors is, I mean, it's an unspoken vibe. So to have these guys there and feeling appreciated, it makes you feel like everything you've been through, everything you worked on up until this point was worth it, right? You know, when we pray, we ask God for certain things, you know, and we have to know that He's going to do it, right? Yeah. And so we should celebrate before He even give us the blessing. Absolutely. Whatever it was that we asked for, we should praise and worship Him, and knowing that He's going to deliver, right? Yeah. So that just touched me, and I'm like, man, I got to start really, taking out more time to celebrate those wins, because if you think about that energy that you put behind it, that's how you get more of that blessing. And Keisha said something so profound earlier this year. She was like, no more busy work, right? And when she said that, it spoke to my life too, because at the time I was all over the place. I was doing a lot of busy work, really just trying to build my market value and just, get my face out there. But I'm beyond that now, you know what I'm saying? So just moving with more intention. Right?
Yeah. So tell me about our lineup for Men's Month.
So Jay Holland is going to be one of the guys. He's amazing. We have Carl Roberts, which is like, Carl is one of my best friends. We're going to have Stephen Orphis. He's like my main best friend. Like, he'll probably get upset if I don't. But Stephen, bro, I love you, bro. Who else we got, Keisha?
We also have Xavier Clark.
Yes, Xavier, man.
Prestige Solutions. And we also have Cadero, Roland.
Yes.
We also have Frederick Russell. The photographer that was there last night at the dinner. We also have Mike Anthony with the PEP Prison Entrepreneurship Program. We also have, let me make sure. I'm trying to go through my pictures.
We're trying to get at least 12 guys.
Yeah, we're trying to get at least 12 guys. And so we're still building it out. But the way that we want to close out the year is to create this centralized space for everyone to come together in a communal setting to celebrate, to honor everyone that we have connected with and have built these relationships with. And I think the Merchant Mix, another dynamic to it, it's a continuous space that we can all go back to and make sure, like, hey, y'all good?
Y'all good? Yeah.
Do we need anything?
Then go check on
it has been a healing space for me, because it's a place I've had to continue to show up to through some trying times. And I can tell y'all, like, Rodriguez, you, Carl Roberts, Stephen, like, y'all have been my backbone to get through this. And so the Arlington Merchant Mix is something bigger than even what people see, what they can imagine. And the most beautiful thing about it for me personally, that just touches me every time I see it, is my granddaughter, my kids, to be there. They've been there. But they've grown up in the Merchant Mix, but also to see pictures of my granddaughter in that room, I'm like, God, you have allowed us to build something that we get to pass down
to your kids,
to our kids and grandchildren. And so it's a beautiful
You are setting a blueprint for them to follow after if they want to continue on to be entrepreneurs and things of that nature. I love when you have your son with you there. So
with so many pictures of me holding him while I'm hosting events.
Yes, for him just running around. And I love it that, like you said, the merch mix is all inclusive, so you can bring your family, you can bring your friends, even when I do the Black History book, they love the coloring books and things like that. So it's family friendly, it's inclusive. And so that just kind of brings me to the subject of family. And like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting you guys a little over a year ago now. And being there when the two of you first met and we developed our own connections, and I had the opportunity to see you all build your business connection and build this brand. And like you said, you've kind of grown into that name, the Dynamic Duo.
Yeah.
But I got a phone call the other day.
Calling everybody.
Well, most of the important people.
Yes. I got a phone call, and I even made a post on a subliminal post on Facebook. I usually don't do subliminal posts.
Okay, Auntie.
Yes, but I did. I made this subliminal post, and I said, "Oh, I feel like an auntie. Oh, I got to call and just, So I get this call, and Mr. U says to me, "I gotta tell you something." I gotta tell you something. And I'm like, what? He said, so, I'm with somebody and I don't know if you're gonna know who it is or what you think. And I'm sitting there like, what you finna tell me? And so he proceeds to tell me with all this enthusiasm and excitement in his voice that not only have you all decided to be the amazing dynamic duo in business, but also in relationship now, in life, And I thought he was just gonna be like, I asked Keisha on a date, but then he was like,
Kind of past that.
He was like, so I'm calling you on a date. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Date.
A date? Well, wait a minute. What happened? But I told you, I told Farrah about it, and she was like, oh, I already knew that.
I think that's the response we got from most people. Everybody that we've told, they've said the same thing. Like, you guys already have this chemistry. Like, we already thought you guys were probably married and hiding it or something. And we're like, what?
Yeah.
What are we getting out of hiding it? But I think most importantly is like, I have utmost respect for Keisha, first and foremost, right? I've seen not just one transition. I've seen her transition in multiple things, like her mom and relocating from where she's living and just certain relationships not working out, all of those things, and just being in her corner, right? Just being there to listen, to be a shoulder for her to lean on, right? So it wasn't anything that was in expectancy to like come from all of that. But I think with just the growth over the year, we've done so many amazing things together. We've shared so many stages together. We've spoken to other people's lives, like, that we know in our circle, right? So, I think it just, we've done so much so fast that I think her and I, we always forward thinking, what's next in our life? Like, on the business side, we're achieving, it's a thing of its own now. But I think it comes a point in anyone's life, they just, you sit, you have this self-check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's next? Like outside of just business, right? Like, what's next for my life?
Mm-hmm.
I've been on this spiritual journey for the last couple of months, like fasting, praying, reading my Bible, just really receiving downloads from God, right? Just asking, like, look, now I want my person, right? Like, I'm doing all of these things, like people saying, like, this it is what it is, but you know, for me to have my person, I feel like that would be next level in my life, right? And I'm sitting here every day, going back to the same location, meditating, praying. God knows where to be, right? And, you know, I'm speaking to other prophets, other prophets on the phone. They like, Mr. You know your calling. I know my calling. God told me my calling. And I don't really promote it. I don't say it a lot because I want people to see it. Mm-hmm. I walk in it, right? So it's like, oh my God, yes, I need this calling. I need this to be full-fledged, right? So I'm talking to God about it. God is like, oh, he finds a wife, finds a great thing. So God was like, hey, I'm the only one that can find wives. I'm the only one that can find wives. He said, you young man, you have to look for her. She's already amongst you. And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, okay, it's a lot of women amongst me. Like, I would know this. I would know this. He said, when you go to her, she will receive you. That's how you would know. Not even knowing she's all on the other side of town, woke up that morning praying for the next season of her life. Right? Yeah. So I'm on the other side of town praying my prayer. She's on the other side praying her prayer. Boom. She calls me. Mr. You, let's meet her for lunch. I'm balling. I'm like, oh! It's about to go down. If this is it, right? Yes. He already told me what to look for.
So now let's just get the story straight. Mm-hmm. So this was how long ago?
3-4 weeks ago.
3-4 weeks ago, almost a month ago. Mm-hmm. And prior to a month ago, you all had a strictly platonic friendship, business relationship. Absolutely. Had never been on a date.
Never.
Did not talk on the phone. No. Lovey, cuddly, bubbly, butterfly things.
Never.
We never
even went, even as partners, we never went out and just...
We never hung out.
Hung out.
The funny part is I've been working with Mr. U for over a year now. I had never been with Mr. U I've never seen him outside of an event. The first time he saw me outside of an event, I was with someone earlier this year. I was dating someone, and I invited my network to his housewarming. Yeah. And that was the first time that we had been around each other.
Socially.
Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing about that, because he said I went through many transitions with my mom, relationships, my children, having to move. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when this happened that day, like he said, he was fasting, meditating, praying. That morning, I was like stopped. I was home for the first time on a day off. Mm-hmm. And I'm usually not off. Yeah. I'm at home by myself. The girls are at school. So I'm in this quiet space. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I had this overwhelming nudge to praise. Yeah. That praise turned me into prayer. Yeah. And as I'm praying about relationships, it was my relationships with my kids. It was thanking God for bringing me to the other side of these transitions. And I'm looking around the house and I'm like, now I've done served and went through freaking hell on earth. I done went through the fire. The dust has settled. Yeah. What does Keisha want? Yeah. What do I want for me? Yeah. And I was almost scared, not even scared, but it's hard for me to speak out what I truly desire for myself intimately. And I'm still learning that. Yeah. It's actually a huge lesson that I'm learning right now. Yeah. And that's another blessing there. But even in my prayer, I couldn't clearly articulate, because when it comes to intimacy, what I truly desire for myself, I just had to say, God, I'm ready to move on with my life.
Yes.
I was in my authentic praise, so God knows it was a sincere prayer. And when I said that, I know He knew everything that was going through my mind that I said I wanted to move on from.
Yeah.
I'm learning that I didn't even know what that was going to be. But I did say that. And I did even say, I do all of this and I come back home alone. I don't mind being in my solitude. I'm not a lonely woman. Mm-hmm. But it was like, I do want to be held at night. Like, why am I having to carry all this stuff?
Yeah.
Forget that. But I was like, Lord, I don't know what that looks like. So, thank you. Continued worshiping. But I said, I do want to move on with my life. And God knew what I meant. Mm-hmm. And then I just was like, okay, let me get dressed. I was just hitting him up because we had just had the merch mix and I never hang out with him. Yeah. This is my partner in crime. This is my right-hand man. Mm-hmm. And I never spend time with him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let me take him out to lunch and thank him for what he has been in my life. And that has been a listening ear. He has been the backbone of I Am Radio, the Arlington Merch and Mix. Because in the past year, my life has changed. Yeah. If it was anybody else, I don't think there would be an I Am Radio or Arlington Merch and Mix right now. Anybody would have probably gave up going through what I went through. But I had a partner to hold that up for me during that time until I could, get myself together. He never judged me. He never judged what I went through. If I did have to call him to talk about my grieving, he's heard some ugly stuff from me. I was really hurting and I was hurt. He's heard some things. Yeah. I called him about my relationships that I was in, and I opened up to him about things that I was like, Mr. U, I'm learning in this relationship that certain things are important to me that I didn't know was important to me. And I'm telling him these things. I'm like, should I break up with this person? Yeah. And he would tell me.
But I remember him saying to me, Mary, she's sitting there telling me about all these other folks that I had a crush on.
Yeah. And
I have to put you on blast.
He never judged me. Yeah. And I moved and I went through that transition and it was when the dust settled. And I called him, I said, let me thank him. And when I got there, we sat down, we're talking business and, I'm looking good, he's looking good. And then he was like, hey, can I steal you for the day? I'm like, until 4 o'clock, I gotta go home. And you can tell the rest of the story, but I just wanted to be clear that it was and that's the beautiful thing about it, is that there was never anything prior to this. Yes. I had never been with this man in that perspective. He never crossed that boundary with me. I had never been in a space with him. And he was really my confidant. Mm-hmm. Even while I was dating other people.
He was your friend.
He was my friend.
He was your friend.
And, and thank God for him, because even when I was he would tell me certain things, how he speaks with so much passion. Mm-hmm. He talked to me like a protector, like a big brother, like a covering, right? And I listened to him. Whatever he said, I'm like, that's real. That's for sure. I'm moving on. I trusted what he had to say, right? Yeah. And I still do. Since that inception, I have seen him he's been in my world. Yeah. I haven't so much been in his world, right? And he's just been there. And so since that inception and since that conversation that day, I've been able to experience this man on a whole other level, on a more personal level, right? And to think of everything that I have been going through since me and him have even met, and just knowing the part that he's played from a business perspective. And now, even though I try to run away, even when I got close, I'm learning I do have intimacy blocks. Yeah. And I'm like, but he heals it. He has this healing elixir to him. He has no ambiguity about how he feels. He worships the ground I walk on. Like, he tells me things every day. Like, that just build me up. He pours into me. He is like my pastor. He is my covering. And I'm like, do people really know how amazing this person is? It feels like I want to cover him in whatever he is called to do in life, because it takes a certain kind of woman. And I know that. I'm a spiritual woman, and I'm also very seasoned. I've been through a lot. I have a unique perspective, and he also respects my autonomy. He respects what I have to say, and he respects who I am. And so he doesn't take away from me, and I don't take away from him. And it's been a eye-opener and a healing experience for me. And that's the most beautiful thing. I don't think I've ever been able to be open, authentic with anyone the way with a man that he's created that safe space for me.
So what's next for the dynamic duo?
And one of the things that we talked about, I mean, this was a long conversation we had. This wasn't just one day, right?
No, it doesn't.
And one of the things that we did talk about is that we wanted to stay like that, right? We want to stay community. We want to keep that value within the people, right? Even with talking about the union. I mean, you know, it wasn't just an immediate yes. I mean, like you said, I had to, because Keisha is very intellectual. She's very smart with her decision, how she moves. So anybody knows her that should know that her making this decision, it has to be like some key components that's been laid out, right? So, I mean, that's our thing. We want to just continue we want our relationship to not only heal each other, but we want it to heal others, right? We want people to see us and feel hope. You know, we want people to see us and know that, like, look, it's possible for you too. Right? We were initially just genuinely business partners, right? And it grew into something more, right? And that's our story, but at the same time, it can be somebody else's story.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of times people do have those blocks up on what they think their person should be. Oh, he gotta have this. Oh, she gotta be like this and that. And so a lot of times you can be blocking the blessing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's certain elements within a person you can build, right? You can teach a person how to love you. You can like be patient and work things out in a certain aspect. So that's one of the things that I would like to see with the dynamic duo is to continue to have that patience and understanding and that compassion with each other, to know that we're both still transitioning, but from this point on, we can transition together.